Hey guys, welcome to the race briefing for Silverton Alpine Marathons. Silverton Alpine runs, there's more than just a marathon, and the Kendall Mountain Run for 2020. These are our first races back in 4 months. So we did get approval for these two events located in Colorado coming up next weekend. So this is mainly for those of you guys who are registered, but there is some general information that we're going to be talking about today, just about events in general as we move forward and come back to some in-person options. So first thing, I'm joined today by Julie Niche. She's our race director for these two events. Thanks for being with me.
Yeah, thank you.
And we are going to start out with just some general COVID guidelines for Aravaipa going forward. We put a lot of thought into these and have been also bouncing some of this off of other race directors who have had some in-person races as well. Some of the basic things that we're going to be looking at, which probably comes to no surprise for many of you out there, that participants, volunteers, spectators, crew, and staff agrees not to attend the event if they display any COVID-19 symptoms within 14 days of the event. That includes fever, cough, difficulty breathing, headache, body aches, loss of taste, sore throat, runny nose, So if you have any symptoms, also if you're running a temperature, please do not attend the event. If you've tested positive for COVID-19, please don't attend the event, or if you've been exposed to someone as well. So, and for those of you that are, say, signed up and something does happen, please contact us. We're doing a 100% credit for like anything of this sort. Do not put, money or financial things ahead of this. This is too important. So please, if you have any concerns, reach out to us, and we are very accommodating on that end. So we will be doing a temperature check. This is specifically one of the requirements for doing this event. So anyone with a temperature above 100.4 degrees will not be allowed into the race area. And we will be doing those checks on site. And there will be a tent and an EMT there performing those checks.
Correct.
Anything to add to that?
I'll talk about that a little more.
So this is general. We'll get to specifics. All participants will wear a mask covering your nose and mouth unless you're either running or eating. So if you are in the vicinity of our race headquarters areas, everyone's required to wear a face covering. If you're coming into an aid station and you're going to be within 6 feet of someone, you need to wear a face covering. All of our volunteers will be. So if you can't maintain that distance while you're getting your water filled, we do need you to wear a face covering. Participants will maintain a 6-foot social distance whenever possible. So even when you're running out there on the course, don't bunch up, give space and give room. It's relatively easy for these events as there are mostly on dirt roads. Runners will plan to be more self-sufficient in terms of water and aid stations. So the less contacts, the better, basically less contact touch points. Volunteers and staff will wear gloves when handling any food or beverages, and surfaces will be disinfected at regular intervals. So those are the basics. And kind of if you're not willing to follow these, please wait to join us until these guidelines are eased, and that will be great for everyone. Another thing we want to touch on, this was just declared a couple of days ago and will be in effect for our Silverton events. So San Juan County, which is the county that Silverton is located in, issued a public health order. The order is hashtag 2020-04 if you want to look it up and read it for yourself. But essentially, there is a face covering, a mask ordinance, basically. So everyone must wear a face covering in any publicly accessible space, either indoor or outdoor, when you're unable to maintain 6 feet of distance or separation from others. So this includes parks in town. This includes just anywhere in the county. So if you're out on a trail in the county, if you're in town in the county, walking down the street, this goes beyond just even our race, which was going to do this anyways, anywhere near our start-finish line and on course. This goes for everywhere. So we ask that you please respect this. This will be enforced in the town, and if we see you not wearing it and not following this, it will be grounds for disqualification from the event. Even if the event is over, it could still be grounds for disqualification if we're still up there and we see you not following this ordinance. So please respect it and be safe out there for your fellow people. Number one, we want to be good stewards coming into this town. We realize it's a small mountain town, and we need to do everything that we can as visitors to minimize the risks. So we think that we can come in and be respectful. As long as we're socially distanced, we're wearing face coverings, and we are spreading out, I think we're going to be relatively low risk activity. That's why we got the approval, and we just need everyone to respect that in your entire visit to Silverton and the San Juans. Okay, so let's move on to some specifics for the events.
Yeah, so as Jamil said, we're really excited to have our first in-person race, but we want to be very clear with participants that our number one concern is the health and the safety of not only our participants, but our staff, our volunteers, and also of the town. And we want to be very respectful of the fact that they are allowing us to come into the town and hold this event. So in all aspects of these two events, I think our goal is to decrease interactions between runners and volunteers, runners and staff, and intra-runner as well. So I'll talk about ways that we are making those changes for each aspect of the run, starting with packet pickup. So there will be no race day registration. So if you show up at packet pickup, you will not be able to register for the race. All of our packets are going to be pre-packed. You're going to have your bib inside, you're going to have your finisher glass, and you're going to have your shirt. We have a tank top for Silverton Alpine, and then we have this nice yellow shirt for Kendall Mountain. And all of that is going to be pre-packed in a bag. These are compostable bags, so we'll have an area for you to dispose of those as well. That'll be a compost. And then it's going to have a label on that bag that's going to include your name, your bib number, it's going to have your wave start time, and it's going to have your shirt size. So it's really important that you pay attention to that wave start time on there as well. We're also going to have a small store that's going to be integrated with our packet pickup. Everything's going to be displayed behind packet pickup, so you're not going to be able to come and touch and try on shirts. It's going to be touchless as well. There'll be no cash, so everything will be credit card, Apple or Google Pay we also have as well. And then you'll just take a look at the display of shirts and ask for what you want from the person working it, and they'll get that for you. The next thing is the way that it's going to look at our start and finish location. So our start location is going to be completely cordoned off with barricades, and there's going to be an entry point where we have our EMTs doing temperature checks and also COVID questionnaires. So as you come to get into the race area, you're going to have your temperature checked and answer that questionnaire. And then we're not letting anybody other than our essential staff and volunteers and runners into the start finish area. And the way that this is going to look with our wave starts is waves of 10 runners that are departing every 5 minutes. And so there's going to be no more than 20 runners within the start finish location. So the first wave of runners is going to come through their temperature checks. They're going to go up to the starting line where they're going to start socially distanced 6 feet apart. And then the next wave of runners that's leaving second is going to also get their temperature checked. They're going to be admitted into the starting area. Please stay dispersed 6 feet as well once you enter. And then we're going to cycle through in that manner. So as one wave leaves, the next wave comes in, and then the third wave will get their temperature checked and be admitted. So in this way, we're decreasing the amount of people that are within the start-finish area.
So when should people come up to the start area?
So our idea is that around 15 minutes before the start, you're dispersed within a block or maybe waiting in your car. And then once it hits 10 minutes before your start time, that's when you come up to the EMT station, get your temperature checked, and get inside.
So I'm like a 7:20 wave start. I can approach the temperature check starting at 7:10.
At 7:10.
Not before then, though, because there's other people in other waves before me that will be in line doing that. So we really ask you, 10 minutes before your start, that's when is the appropriate time to go up, get your temperature check, and you'll go into the waiting area, and then you'll line up.
Right. When you walk up to get your temperature check, you're ready for your race. You have your bib on, you have your pack on, you have your water filled, you've gone to the restroom, everything is already.
Yeah, and we're going to be dispersing those areas for packet pickup will be separate from the start area by a distance. So you can definitely walk up to there, say an hour early, get your bib, but then return to your car or return to a dispersed area that's all we really ask.
Definitely. So we'll talk then, like you said, about the location for packet pickup then. So for Silverton Alpine, packet pickup is going to take place on Friday from 3 to 6 p.m. You can pick up for Silverton Alpine and for Kendall Mountain on that day. And we ask, please, if at all possible, come and pick up your packet in advance to decrease the traffic that we have on race day. If you're not able to get it on Friday, you can pick up on Saturday morning for Silverton Alpine. That's going to be in Memorial Park, but it's going to be the far side of Memorial Park, so the starting line will be on the opposite side. We also ask that as you're waiting to get your packet that you're staying socially distanced. Of course, you need to have a mask on then as well. And then we will also have packet pickup from 3 to 6 at Memorial Park after Silverton Alpine for Kendall Mountain on Sunday if you need to pick up for that. And then we'll have Kendall Mountain packet pickup on Sunday morning at Columbine Park as well. And that's going to be an extended packet pickup. Right now, I think we have it scheduled to 8:30 or 9 o'clock. So if you are in one of the late starts, you don't have to come at 6 o'clock to pick up your packet if you don't start until later. And then Columbine Park is just maybe half a block away from where our starting line is for Kendall Mountain. So Silverton Alpine, as I mentioned, the start is at Memorial Park. Kendall Mountain, the start is going to be at 12th and Empire, which is right near Natalia's.
Yeah, or 12th and Blair, as most people know it.
Okay.
So it's just one block over from the normal start. We can't close down Main Street for 2 hours with our wave start, so we're just moving one street over. It's right where the train will drop people off in town normally.
And we have a nice empty lot there, so there's plenty of space for us to spread out as well. So moving on from the starting line, I'll talk a little bit about the finish. I don't believe we're going to have the finish cordoned off just because it's going to be a really big area and we have limited barricades, but we are asking that as soon as you finish, stop by our finish line aid station, grab some water and snacks, but then we ask that you move out of the area. So there's not going to be group photos, your high fives and hugs are going to have to wait for another day. So please clear out of there because we are trying to be respectful of the town and make sure that we're not congregating. The same goes for your spectators. We will have a volunteer that's taking photos at the finish line. You'll have access to all of those for free after the event, so please keep your spectators back at a distance as well.
Yeah, we're really trying to respect the group size of 10, so that's why we have starting waves of 10 and not 15 or 20 or 25. We're really trying to keep that number 10 in mind, so if you notice that like there's starting to be more than 10 people in one close proximity, if you guys can all help us out to, disperse and enjoy the rest of the town elsewhere, that would be awesome. If it does become to be too many people, we will make some announcements or ask you guys to disperse. That just goes along with getting permission to be there in town. That's something we agreed to, so we would ask you guys respect that as well.
So moving on, I'll talk a little bit about what aid stations are going to look like. Per our permit with the BLM and also our permission with the town, we are only going to be serving prepackaged food, so unfortunately there are not going to be quesadillas and grilled cheese at this race, but we will have several items that you can choose from. All of this is going to be in the runner guide with exactly what we're going to have available at the aid stations. We will have Gatorade and soda and water. We're going to have a couple different options for how you can refill your water. Normally we have volunteers that pour from a pitcher. We will have that available. You will need to unscrew your bottle. You'll need to open your hydration bladder so that they can pour, and it's going to be completely contactless. They'll also be gloved and masked as well, and we ask that you're also masked if you're coming to have the volunteer pour the water for you. We also have some little self-serve valves for our igloo cooler, so it's kind of the thing where you touch it and then it'll come out like that. So not completely contactless, but definitely a lot better than pushing the button.
It works really well if you have a hard water bottle, kind of the older style. If you have a newer soft flask, it doesn't work quite as well.
And then the final option that we'll have is bottled water. If you would prefer absolutely no contact, we'll have that option as well. We're also going to have a recycle bin that's right next to it. So please, if you take the water bottles, recycle that so we can minimize our impact.
Yeah, if you'd prefer to just not touch anything and only get your water from those, that's the option for you. And you can use them to fill up your own reusable water bottles or just carry them with you. Either way.
And then we will have things like sunscreen and Tums and salt sticks, but the volunteers are going to have those things back behind the aid station. So if you need assistance with that, please ask, and they will have to deliver that to you or spray you with sunscreen so that we don't have so many people touching. Jamil also found some awesome automatic hand sanitizers. So the beginning and the ending of every aid station will have the ones that you just stick your hand under.
Yeah, we'll have at least one of those at every aid station. We'll have some traditional ones as well, just pump style.
Yeah, so a lot of changes to aid stations. We do realize that this is more limited than you would normally have at an Aravaipa race, but this is necessary for us right now to fulfill the requirements of our permits. So we're also asking that volunteers are more self-sufficient. If you can go without stopping at the aid stations at all, that's ideal, especially if you're looking at the 8 mile for Silverton Alpine or just doing 12 miles at Kendall. You know, if you can carry the extra water and if you can carry your own nutrition, that's the best case scenario, but we do have things available if not. So then kind of moving on to a couple specific changes we have for each event. We do have some course changes. For Silverton Alpine, there will be no changes to the course, but we will have 2 less aid stations. We normally have Eureka aid station that's in between Howardsville and Animas, and we will not have that this year. So that makes, is it 8 miles then?
8 miles for the marathon and about 13 for the 50K. So.
Right. And so we also will not be having water at our Niagara Gulch. Niagara? It's spelled weird. Okay.
It is what it is. Maybe I'm saying it wrong.
Okay. So normally we have water at Niagara Gulch. That is the turnaround point for the 50K when they do their out and back. And then that's also a checkpoint for the marathon and the 50K runners as they're coming back into town. It's only 2.3 miles from the start finish. So just we're eliminating that extra contact point there for water. So just do be sure you fill up at Howardsville and you fill up at Gladstone so that you aren't left out on water there. For Kendall Mountain, we will have a course change. This is just going to be the small out and back portion. So as you work your way up the mountain in the 12 miler, when you reach the notch and you take the scramble up to the top, that's about 300 feet to the summit. Once you arrive on the summit, you're actually going to follow the ridge line and you're going to drop down the back side of the summit, which will then curve you around to link back up with the Jeep Road. So this is a great change that we were actually considering anyways, and this is going to eliminate the back and forth passing on that really narrow scramble section. I think it also allows you to get a great view of the town once you reach the summit. So I think better all around on that one.
Yeah, it's a win-win. And as far as the scramble goes, we do ask that you social distant on that scramble. That's the one part of both of these races that is a single track type of a trail. So please, kind of jockey for position maybe before you get there. Be mindful of other people. There's a couple of spots where you can get around people and stay wide, but we will have a course marshal out there just ensuring that people are giving space. So keep that in mind.
And then the Notch aid station we will not have this year either. We won't have water or nutrition available at the Notch. So make sure that you do fill up when you get to Deer Park before you leave, if necessary. And then Deer Park, we will have split with an outside and a return side. So as you're coming through Deer Park, be sure that you're using the correct aid station on that.
Basically, we'll have one for the up, one for the down. So go to the one on your right side that you hit first will be the one for you.
Right. So on that course, we're asking that you always stick to the right side of the road because it is an out and back. If you're passing, please pass wide and then get back onto the right side of the road so we can stay socially distanced there. So then the last thing I'll go into a little bit of detail about is our wave starts. I already covered kind of the way that the rotation is going to work on that, but I just wanted to touch on how we assigned those wave starts. So our wave starts were assigned through Ultra Sign Up ranking. We have an elite men's that is going to depart first with a wave of 10. Then we're going to have an elite women with a wave of 10. And then it's just going to be interspersed. And then we also did our best to accommodate any of the requests that we had for families, roommates to run together as well. So if you take a look at your wave starts, which will be posted on our website, we're also going to email them out with a runner email that's going to go out Saturday or Sunday. If you have any questions on that at all, please don't hesitate to reach out to us. Thank you to all of our volunteers. We do still need a couple people for setup and breakdown. We're looking for volunteers. We're also looking for somebody to do our finish line photos for both Kendall and Silverton, which is actually the funnest volunteer shift. So if you're interested in that, and a big thank you to everybody that has volunteered, and then a thank you to our sponsors, Squirrel's Nut Butter and Kogala.
Yep, that's awesome. And yeah, just a reminder, Silverton, they're definitely appreciative of your business. So when you're in town, please stop by and just check with each one on what their different guidelines are for either a restaurant or hotel. And just keep in mind if you're flying in from out of state, I would say, just be mindful of maybe how much time you're spending indoors at restaurants. If you can take out whenever possible and take it back to your campsite, that would be preferable. That's what I'm going to be doing. So I think that's about it. But yeah, safe travels, and hopefully we'll see you guys soon.
We look forward to seeing you in Silverton.